All right. Hi, you guys. My name is Kristen Keller. I work with Michaels and I am the manager of online classes. So I'm super excited to get to spend some time with you today doing a beautiful solar system necklace. You guys can see this. We're going to make one of these. We're going to even add a ring around Saturn. So it looks like it's got a cool sparkly ring. Um, we're going to make one of these. So let's go ahead and get started. This project is kind of a longer project just because there's so much painting involved and you got to let it dry. So we're going to jump right into it. Lindsay's going to help me watch chat. If you see any questions or anything, feel free to pop in. Otherwise, it'll just be kind of me talking you guys through where we're going. But we're going to move pretty quickly just so that we can kind of keep it going. So this is what we're going to do. If you want to spotlight my hands, I'm going to move this over here. And let's talk about supplies. We're going to start by using these beads. These are assorted wood beads. They come pre-painted. We're going to go ahead and paint over that. So don't worry about the colors. We just want the sizes and the shapes. So we're going to use these. I went ahead and counted out my beads for the stars, for our planets, excuse me. Now I have made this bracelet, this necklace like 4 or 5 times because I've practiced a bunch of times and then I already recorded it. So in fact, you can, as soon as we're done with class today, go and watch the recording on Michael's Camp Creatology page or Michael's YouTube page. They're already out there and loaded. So you'll see a couple of these bigger beads that I'm going to use that I used to make a practice run. But I like the size of them and I don't have any more of that size left. So we're going to repaint them today. Okay. So don't worry about that. And then I've got some smaller beads because all of the planets aren't these giant planets, right? Some of them are like small, like Mercury or Neptune, that are smaller planets that are not these big Jupiter and Uranus kind of size planets. And then we're going to make some stars, some galaxy. See how it kind of looks like stars in space in between. We're going to make some of those, and I've already got those beads counted out too. So our first order of business is let's pull out our paint. I have my handy dandy Creatology brushes that I have used for many classes now. They're kind of dirty, but the great thing about these brushes is they last kind of forever. So we're going to put those right here. And then I am going to pull out my paint. And we are going to use, if you bought all of the supplies, this is the ones that we're using, the acrylic paint. And you'll note that it comes in 6 colors. So we have red, blue, and yellow, which are the primary colors. Then you have black, brown, and white. And I'm going to show you how just using these same basic 6 colors, we can make pretty much any color that we want, which is kind of cool. It's one of my favorite parts about this project. We do a lot of paint mixing because planets are never just one color, right? Think about the Earth. It's like every color under the rainbow, but mostly blue and green and some white for the ocean and clouds, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out, and for this today, I'm using a paper plate for my palette to hold my paint. But in the past, I've used one of these. It just kind of depends on what you're trying to do. Just a piece of paper will work. Anything will really work. Tupperware works great. But I'm going to take out a little bit of my red, and I'm going to kind of dump a little bit out there.
While you're pouring your paint, I
Yeah,
have
of
a few
course.
questions.
Sure. Let's hear it.
We have some people who don't have big beads,
That's
some people
okay.
who don't have any beads, and we have some people who only have glass beads. Do you have any tips for them?
So if you don't have any beads, that's okay. Just watch along, and when you get some beads, you can go back and rewatch it, and you can learn how to make it from the video. You'll still learn a lot about color mixing, and we'll talk about some some techniques. For those of you who are using glass beads, you might just have to, it should work. You might just have to do a bunch of coats. And you'll probably have to be a lot more patient because I'm not sure what this acrylic paint will do on the glass beads. And then regarding the size of the beads, so you have a miniature solar system necklace. That's okay too. That totally works. There's no right or wrong reason. For those of you guys who have been through these classes with me before, where I teach these art classes, my very first rule of thumb is that there are I'm a firm believer. I went to art college and everything, studied art. There are no mistakes in art. You just haven't finished your project yet. So if you get to a point and you're like, I don't like it, I'm done, I'm not happy with it, it just means that you're not quite done, and maybe you set it aside, let it dry, and then come back and put some more finishing touches on it. But there's no mistake in art that can't be fixed. And sometimes those little accidents turn out to be the coolest part of the project. And then I am going to pull out some black. And you'll see I'm kind of keeping the colors that I want to mix a lot over here. And then the colors that I'm just going to add little bits of, like the black and the white, I'm going to leave over here. Okay. We're just kind of spreading it out on my paper. Okay. So now I have those 5 colors. I'm not going to worry about brown because I don't really want to use brown on this project. But if I did, I could totally pull some of it out. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys a tip for painting little fiddly things like this. Like this is so little. If I were to try to hold it in my hand and paint it, I definitely get paint all over my hand. So there's a tip. There's 2 tips that I'll show you. The first one is I'll pull out from my pen case. You can use a pencil. If you have a pencil, you can put it on your pencil and paint it like that. Okay. And that works really well. You can just paint it on your pencil. But because I have so many that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to show you another tip that works really great. And it's going to require me to pull out my Creatology binder over here. And I'm going to pull out some pipe cleaners, okay? And this is what we're going to use. Shut that back up for the time being. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to string them onto a pipe cleaner, and that gives me some surface, okay? And I might even do 2 because that makes it extra stiff. And that gives me something to hold on to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my beads, okay? And I'm just going to put them through the pipe cleaner like this. You see, and then I can hold on to this while I paint the beads. And then I can just slide them up when I'm done and put my next bead on. But what I might do is go ahead and put a bunch of them on so that I kind of can go pretty quickly through this process. The other nice part about this is it makes it really easy to let it dry. I don't have like a whole bunch of just wet beads rolling around, okay? And I'm just using 2 pipe cleaners together because I want it to be a little bit extra firm. You totally don't have to do that. Or if you're doing the pencil method, that also works. But I'm just going to go ahead and put all of these on because this will help speed up my process. And let's see, there's 8 planets. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then here's 7 and 8. Okay. Okay, and I'm sorry if you can hear noise. I have my neighbors across the street are getting their house re-roofed. So sometimes I'll hear like a really loud like nail gun that'll just like go, go, go. And it's just the people across the street, but you probably can't hear it. But if I ever startle or jump, that's why. It's because I'm hearing the roofers. All right, so now I have all of these handy dandy little guys ready to go. And so I'm going to start with this little one. And let's say, because I'm doing a little bead, I don't need this giant brush. That's too big. So I'm going to start with a smaller brush. I'm going to start with my little orange brush. Okay. And let's say I want to do, sorry, I bumped my camera. Fix that so you can actually see it. Okay. So let's say that I want to do this planet, I want to do this planet orange, okay? But I don't have orange on my paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this red, put it over here in the middle, and we're going to take a little bit of yellow, okay? And we're going to mix it together. And when you mix red and yellow, it makes orange. You're definitely going to need a lot more yellow than red. So don't be afraid to add more yellow and keep mixing it. And you see, now I have a really nice kind of like orange color instead of just straight red. And I'm going to keep adding in some of that yellow. Okay, so that's kind of what color I wanted. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave some of that on my brush, and you'll see I don't have it mixed in all the way. There's definitely some red and yellow still on there. I like it like that because it makes it look kind of streaky. And planets aren't ever just all one color, right? They're swirly and they have stripes and like all sorts of things happening because they've got clouds that are different colors. And I like it to look like that. So now I'm going to start painting onto my bead. Okay. I'm just going to kind of start putting it on. It's okay if you get a little bit on that pipe cleaner. It's okay because it's going to just dry. And you can see I can just kind of keep turning it and make sure I get it all kind of in there. And then I might decide, you know, I want a little bit more of that yellow. So I'm going to kind of come in and I'm going to put some yellow on there and blend it in a little bit and leave it so that there's little like bits of that yellow. So it kind of looks like it has yellow clouds. Can you guys see that? Is it too small? But do you see, that's kind of what I want it to look like. Not all one color. Okay, that bead is done. Now I'm going to pull up my next bead and we're gonna push it up and I'm going to make it a different color. Now this one, I'm gonna wipe off some of my paint off of my brush, okay? I'm gonna pull my water over. You guys, I have water right here. I'll move it over here so you can see it. Right now it's white or clear. I'm gonna rinse my brush off.
I
Okay.
have a quick question.
Of course, let's hear it.
How many small, medium, and big beads do you have?
I just pulled what I had left. I think if you do it in the kit, if you pull just straight from the beads, you've got plenty to do, all big beads if you want. I did kind of half and half. So I have 5 large beads and 3 small beads. If you see, here's my 3 small beads, and then I've got the 5 big beads. It's whatever feels right to you. Like you could get super into it and research it and like, this is the biggest planet, these are the next, like, and go like that. But for me, I'm just going to kind of go with my feeling and be more artistic and less scientific. But both options are totally work. It's whatever feels right to you guys. Okay. There's no right or wrong reason. Okay. So now I'm going to kind of dab my brush, and you'll know it's pretty clean when it starts coming off mostly clear. See, there's not any paint left. So I'm going to go on for another color, and I think because I have this warm color, I'm going to go for a like a purpley color. Okay. And the way that you make purple, if you didn't know this, is by taking a little bit of blue. We're going to put it right here, and then a little bit of red. And you're going to just kind of mix it together. And let's see what happens when we add those colors together. It makes, here, let me make my brush over here. It makes a really pretty purple. Now, that's a really dark purple. So I'm going to take this chunk of white right here, mix that in, and see how that makes kind of like a lighter purple. Okay. And I might add just a little bit more red to get kind of like a nice, you see how that's a really pretty, like a nice little purple. Okay. let me get a little bit more white just to like mix it in, make it a little bit better. And there's no right or wrong reason. You're just going to go until you get to the color tone that you want. So you see on my brush, I've got some white and some blue and some red, not all the way mixed in. I like it like that because it, once again, I feel like makes it look more like a planet. So I'm going to leave that on my brush. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to start mixing it on to my bead. You guys see what I'm doing here? Pulling it over here. Okay. And then as you put it on, it kind of all just turns the same color. Okay, now I've decided I think that's all pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of blue and mix it in and just kind of like leave those streaks. I'm going to do the same thing with a little bit of red. Got a little bit of red on the tip of my brush right here. And I'm going to mix that in on this side. And so it looks like you've got all of those streaks in it. Okay. All right, that brush, that one is done. So I'm going to kind of wipe that off of my brush, get all of the excess paint off. And now I'm going to put that in my water. Your water is going to turn crazy colors really quick because you're using all of the colors and you're just going to, it's just going to get kind of crazy. It normally is going to end up like a gray or a brownie kind of muddy looking color. But it's all okay because as long as it's wet, it's going to keep rinsing off of your brush. Now I'm going to come down and I'm going to do this other bead. Okay. Now I'd already painted this bead kind of green, but I'm going to do a different color and we'll save the green for somewhere else. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a teal color. Do you guys know how to make teal? If you don't know this or not, this teal is like my very favorite color. So I'm going to take some blue. Okay. And we're going to take some yellow. We're going to take more blue than yellow because that's how you make teal. If I wanted just straight green, I would do even parts green and blue. But because I want teal, which is like a greenish bluish color, like that color, do you see how that's like a turquoisey kind of teal color? That's the color that I want. It's more, it's like 2 parts blue to 1 part yellow, which is what I kind of want it to be. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to paint that over here. And we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a turquoise kind of teal planet. Get it all the way covered. And then I think I want this guy to have some white clouds. You see how that looks? So I'm going to come over and I'm going to steal a little bit of white, put the white on my brush, and I'm going to kind of like come in and put some white all over it. Okay, put some white. And then as I kind of blend it in, it's going to kind of look a little bit more stripy. Put some more white. And so now I kind of have a teal and white cloud covered planet. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do there. I'm going to rinse this brush off. See, now that water has gotten kind of like a dark purpley color. Okay, I'm going to keep it. You see how it still rinses pretty clean on my brush. Okay, now we're going to pull up another little brush, another little planet. And I think for this planet, we're going to make this planet green. Okay, so I've already got a lot of blue and a little bit of yellow. So to fix this, I'm going to just use this existing color and add more yellow to it, and it's going to turn it green. I don't know about you guys, but mixing the colors is like my very favorite part of painting. It's why I love to paint, because I love to make my own colors. That feels sort of magical. So do you see how that teal color turned into this green color when I added the yellow? So I'm going to paint this little bead yellow, this green color. I give ourselves like a nice green planet. Okay. Cover it all the way through. Can you see what I'm doing here? Hold it. Okay. And then I'm going to add some blue to this one. Okay. And we're going to kind of mix it right on that bead. Okay. Just kind of keep going. Then I'm going to add some yellow to it. Okay. All right. So now these are the beads that I have ready. I really like how they're coming together. Okay. So now we've got this purple bead that we're going to paint a new color. So I think what I'm going to do is get this paint off of my brush, and then we're going to clean it off. And do you see our water? It's now like a gray, dark gray kind of gross color. But look, it's still cleaning my brush just fine. It just cleans my brush just like I need it to. So let's go with a red color, okay? Or maybe, yeah, let's do a red color, and let's just do straight red, and then let's maybe add a little bit of pink to it, white to it, and we'll kind of make like a pinky, like a pinky red color. And I'm going to not mix it all the way in. You see on my brush how I've got some dark red and some light pink. I'm going to leave it like that because I want it to not blend in all the way on my brush, on my planet, okay? I'm going to cover it all in, cover my brush. You guys see what I'm doing here? I'm trying to get it close enough, but not too close so that you can actually see what's working here. Okay, so there's that one. I think I'm going to add a little bit more white to it. Okay, so I've got some white on the edge of my brush, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill it in with some white. Get a little bit more. Okay. And just kind of leave it like that so it looks swirly, like there's lots of clouds on the top of this one. Okay. All right, 3 more beads to go, you guys. When it gets to this point, sometimes I like to fold it over because that helps make it easier to hold. I don't have the whole thing sticking out that way. So I can do it this way. Okay. Let's see. So I've got orange, purple, green, or teal, green, pink. What color haven't I done yet that I should do on a planet? Okay, let's just do straight red with some black in it. How about that? Do we have any questions or comments that we need to talk about, Lindsay?
We have a question on, can you go over how you did the purple again?
Sure. So the purple is a little bit of blue and a little bit of red. It's equal parts blue and red, and then I added some white. Okay, so blue, equal parts blue and red, and then a little bit of white to lighten it up. That's how I did that. Okay, can you guys see what I'm doing over here? So I'm covering this bead. We're making it red because I think we need like a red giant, right? It's the kind of a planet that they call it that. And that typically means the star is like dying. So we've got a nice red bead. And then instead of white on this one, because I've already kind of done that, I'm going to add some black. And when I add red and black together, that's going to make like a really pretty like burgundy. Okay. We're going to kind of blend it in. We'll see how it turns out. And it kind of like makes it go really dark. But I'm going to add another little bit of red on my brush. And we're going to kind of just blend it in on the bead. Ooh, I kind of like that. Look how that turned out. That looks kind of cool. Blend it in on the bead. A little bit more red. Oh, that looks like cool. That's kind of like Marsy. Blend that in. I like that one. Okay, so that's a cool one. That might be my favorite one so far, that red and black. turned into like a nice kind of burgundy color. Okay, so we've got 2 beads left. And I think we need just like a straight blue one, right? A blue one with maybe some like white clouds on it. So it looks kind of like earth, right? We need to represent earth. I'm going to wipe off my brush, make sure I get all the water out of it. Okay. And now we're going to come in and we're going to do this one blue. Okay. We'll just do a little bit of blue on the brush. Paint it all blue. Get it all covered up. Do you see how easy it is to do this on the pipe cleaners? It just makes it so much more stable and so much like easier to hold. And my fingers aren't dirty at all. I just think that's such a good tip to like paint it with the pipe cleaner because it holds it and it makes it easier to work with. Okay, so there's my blue bead. I'm going to add some white to it. Come over to another part of the white where I don't have any other colors. I'm just going to kind of blend it in and put some white all over it so that it looks like it has some white clouds. And kind of blend it. Okay, there's my blue and white bead. And let's see, what is the last color that I need? You know what? I think I need some yellow. I need some bright on here. Sometimes you have to rub your brush on the bottom of the cup, and that helps scrape out the last bit of the paint. And then you see how dirty my water is, but it's still cleaning my brush just fine. So sometimes people will be like constantly getting new water, and you just don't need to do that. You just keep wetting your brush, drying it off on here, getting all of the last little bit of paint, and that's what makes a big difference. So, okay, so let's paint this guy yellow, okay? We're gonna just do like straight up yellow. We'll cover him all in. He might need a little bit of extra paint because he is blue on the bottom, and we all know that when you add blue and yellow, it kind of turns into a green color. Sorry, I bumped my camera. Okay. Blue, yellow. And then I'm gonna let it blow on it a little bit. We're gonna come back in, add some more yellow. And maybe I'll just like embrace like the pattern on it and make it look like those are its clouds. How about that? That might be our solution. Okay. All right, there's our planets. Those are really cool planets. It's going to be an awesome necklace. So now we need to be thinking about which one do we want to be our Saturn, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this brush aside here. I'm going to get all that yellow off. Another tip about brushes is right now it's got a lot of yellow paint on it. If I were to just set it aside over here, that yellow paint's going to start to dry. But the tip is if you put it in your water, that will keep the paint from drying. And then if I don't get a chance to wipe it down right now, it can just sit in the water until I'm done, and then I can wipe it all up, and the paintbrush will then last a lot longer that way. Okay. You never want your brushes just sitting out with paint on them, because once that paint dries, you're never going to get it off the brush and you'll just have to throw your brush away. So take care of those brushes. So I've got my planets done. They're ready. So if you look at these planets that I did earlier, if you look at what the difference is between like this one and this one, do you see how this one is kind of dull already? It's not super shiny, whereas this one is like super shiny. These guys are really shiny. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. When it gets dull like that, that's how you know that acrylic paint is dry. So that's your tip. So I'm going to put these aside right here, okay? And I'm going to let them dry a little bit longer while we move on to the next phase. I'm going to twist that so it doesn't flip all over the place. And I'm going to just let them dry right there. Okay. So it's going to sit right there and it's going to dry. And that's going to let me move on to my next part of my trick. It's not a trick, my project. Okay. So we're now gonna make our space galaxy beads. These are called our spacer beads that are gonna go in between each planet. And so I'm gonna do the same thing I did here. I'm gonna string these little beads that we have right here on to a pipe cleaner, okay? And I think I'm gonna try to do 2 again as well, because that seems to be a little bit more stable than just 1. And what I'm gonna do, and this one is gonna be even easier, okay? I'm gonna just stick them through. And since we're doing these all black, you don't even have to leave space. You can just stream them up right next to each other, just like that, okay? You don't need any space or anything.
We have some people worried about time. So if you're still painting your planets, that is totally okay.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if you want to keep working on your planets while I work on the next spot, and then like later you can go online. It's already up and loaded. You don't even have to wait till tomorrow. You can go and you can finish watching. You can go watch the video, pick up from where you are, and just keep watching the video. But yeah, there is a lot going on. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a wasp in my house. Sorry. Very distracting. A wasp in my house, you guys. Everybody cross your fingers that Kristen does not get stung by a wasp while teaching this class, because that is the last thing we need, right? So we're going to just keep stringing these on, but absolutely work at whatever pace you're at. We just are supposed to have this class in an hour. And since we're teaching it live, I'm kind of going to keep moving, even though I know you probably wish that I would slow down. But that's why we have those videos, so you can go back and you can watch it. You can watch it later. There's also instructions that you could print out and you could figure out that would give you instructions too. So I'm going to keep stringing these beads through. See, I've got a couple more to do. Any
About
other
how
questions
many,
while I'm doing that?
yeah, how many of the little beads, the spacer beads, are you doing?
So I'm doing 16. So I can have one on every side of the 8 planets. So I've got 8 planets, and then I need 8. I need 2 for each planet. So that's 16 beads. So that's why I have so many, is I'm doing 1 for each side. Okay.
We have another question.
Sure.
Can we use Mod Podge to make them shiny?
You certainly can. Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
You absolutely can do Mod Podge to make them shiny.
And we have a few people who are adding a sun to their necklace.
Oh, that's a great idea. I thought about, I was looking at in this kit over here, there are pom-poms, like shiny pom-poms. And I was trying to figure out how I could get a big shiny pom-pom in the middle of your of it and have that be a cute sun. But absolutely do a sun. You could add glitter to it. Lots of things that you could do to make it, to put a sun in there. Okay. So I have got my last bead through. Okay. All right. See, I've got all my beads. And again, remember, it doesn't matter what color they are, because they will not stay that color for long. We're going to hold it like this. Okay. this is what I'm going to paint. So I'm going to pull out another brush. I'm going to use this brush, because this green brush, just because it is right here and it's kind of the right size. And I'm going to turn my paint palette around till I have my black right here. And I'm going to dip my brush in there, and I'm going to just go over them. And because these are all the same color, I'm not doing one bead at a time. I'm just going to do all of them. I can do a whole bunch at once like this, and then just kind of go at it from all of the different angles. And it just goes really fast. See, it just goes really fast. You just kind of keep coming until you don't see any more of those other colors underneath it. These ones have little ridges, so that makes them a little bit trickier. And you just kind of take your brush and go a bunch of different directions on it. You can see I'm going this way, up and down, and then I'm going side to side to get all of those ridges done. and just keep getting more paint on my brush. Get it all the way through. Keep working. Get it all there. And then we're going to do my favorite part, which is add stars. And if you guys have never flicked paint, you're missing out. It's going to be so much fun. Okay. Keep going. Keeping a close eye on that wasp out of the corner of my eye, you guys. Welcome. You guys are signing up for an art class and a show as I avoid the wasp in the corner of the room. So we're going to keep painting. Okay. Get it all the way. Okay, that looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty solid black. Oh, I'm going to bend it the other direction and get some of these little spots that when it was all together the other way, I missed. Okay. Get it all really good. Do a couple layers on it. Okay. All right. So any questions about this point, getting it to here where we have all of our black little galaxy beads painted? Because now we're coming up to my favorite part. So I'm going to put this brush in here. I'm not quite ready to, I'm not going to use this paint again. So this brush again, so I'm going to just leave it in my brush. So now I've got two brushes just chilling in the water so that they don't get ruined. And now for this piece, you kind of want a brush that's a little bit bigger that has bristles that you can fling, like this one. This has like pretty stiff bristles and I can do that to it. If I tried to do it with this one, it's too soft and it won't work. Do you see how they don't really flip out? You could also probably do it with this one. That would work too. But I'm going to do this one because then I can take my finger. I'm going to do the red one because then I can take my finger across it like that and I can get double bang for my buck. Okay. So I'm going to take the white and you can see I have this little area that doesn't have anything else in it, any other colors mixed in. I'm going to move this over to the side. And because I have like my computer and everything right here, I'm going to use this as a shield. And I'm going to cover that right here. So it's not going to get on like my keyboard or my laptop. And I'm going to put this down here on this section. And I'm going to, are you guys ready to watch this? I'm going to come get some white paint on my brush, just like this. I've got just a little bit of white paint. And this is where you are going to get your hands a little bit dirty, but that's okay. This is the fun part. So I'm going to just put this down and I'm going to just put my finger into the paint. I'm just going to start flipping it and it's just going to start flicking little bits of white paint all over. And we're going to have to just kind of keep doing it, keep getting paint on my brush. You don't want a ton because too much of it is going to make it go in big globs, but you want just little bits and you just kind of want to go like this and get close to it and just kind of keep working at it until you get it to the point where you want it. And just keep this part just kind of just is really satisfying. Okay. Get a little bit more paint. And you just kind of keep flipping it with your brush. And get some more on here. And at first you kind of think, oh my goodness, I don't have any, until you get up close and then you start to see all the little speckles and it starts to look really cool. Okay. And I'm going to get some more white. Okay. And you can see all of the white paint that's on here. That's why I'm protecting my keyboard, my laptop, which is all tucked underneath there. That way I'm not getting any white paint on that. And then I might try it with a smaller brush to see if that makes a big difference. Okay. And then you can just kind of keep going, figure out which way you like it best. Okay. See, look at all those stars. Looks really good. I'm going to flip it over so I can get both sides nice and speckled. Okay, get some more paint. Okay, this is just really satisfying. It kind of makes a mess, but it feels really good. And you can see I'm just kind of like pulling it off of the bottom and then putting it back on the brush. Okay, that looks good. Let's flip it around a little bit, get a little bit more. Okay, I think our galaxy beads look really good. They've got lots of stars on them. Looks really awesome. And we're gonna let them dry for a little bit, okay? Now I'm gonna take this brush, I'm gonna put that in here. So now I've got my brushes in the water. And I'm going to leave that on my, it'll just come right off of your hands. And now you kind of are probably in the same boat that I'm in right now, where you got to let it dry for a little bit, right? Do you see how shiny it is still? It's still super shiny. There's parts of it that are definitely look wet. And so I need to let that dry. So it's not ready to be like taken off of the pipe, off of these pipe cleaners and let dry yet. See, even this guy is still, I mean, this one's mostly dry, but this yellow one still needs a little bit of work. It's still kind of shiny. So we're gonna leave it, I'm gonna show you how to do it and how to string it using some beads that I have already dry, okay? So you guys who have been painting along with me or who are going to do it later, you're gonna want to leave it just like this, just drying on a piece of paper, just like this, maybe for like 20 minutes, and then you can come back and pick up with what I'm going to do right now. You could even leave it overnight, come back tomorrow and do it. Come back before bed, let it dry all the way out. It doesn't take very long, but it does take longer than 20 minutes sometimes. So we're going to leave these here, and I'm going to take the beads that I've already done, and we're going to string them. I'll show you how to do that piece so that you guys get to see it all the way through without the drying time, okay? So let me transition my space a little bit here. Gonna move these guys over here so that they're drying. I'm going to put this down so that I'm covering up all that flicked white paint. Okay, I'm gonna put this in my water. And so what I'm gonna do is unstring this bead and I'll show you how it works. It goes really simple, okay? So I've got all of my pieces right here that are dry. And then we've got these guys that we can use. So here are all of my pieces. And we're going to put this back here so it's out of the way, the wet paint. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our scissors that look like this, our kids' scissors. And I'm going to pull out some embroidery floss, which is the best stuff. You can use this to make bracelets, necklaces, all sorts of stuff. And then what I like to do actually is I like to use a pipe cleaner as like a needle to help thread this thread through the beads, because the beads are wood and so they don't have super straight edges, and sometimes there's like paint and so it gets caught on this. So I like to use my pipe cleaner as my needle to make it work. So I think today I'm going to use this pink color. Actually, scratch that. We're going to go full space and we're going to use this navy blue because I think that's the right color. Okay. So we're going to use this navy blue and I'm going to pull out a little bit. We're going to make our necklace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this with my scissors. See what I'm doing? Okay. Pull that aside. So I've got my beads, my string to string my beads on. So then what I like to do is cut a little bit of this pipe cleaner because you don't need the whole thing. And then I like to kind of make a loop and hook this through like this a little bit, and then tighten this like this so that this helps string my beads through. Okay. So now I have like one part where I'm going to pull my beads through. And so I'm going to start with one of these. Okay. And you see, it just makes it really easy. I need to push this really tight. Makes it really easy to get my beads onto that string. And then we're going to go with our next planet. We'll go with this nice purpley one. And then we're going to put another one of the space beads through. Remember? And that is going to help us pull that thread. So we kind of turned a pipe cleaner into like a little bit of a sewing needle to help us thread that together. And then we're going to take, let's do a yellow one. How about that? We can get it through here. We'll actually push it through this side because it seems to be a little bit easier. Okay. Sometimes it takes some finessing, guys. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we have a few questions.
Okay.
One is, how long does the string have to be?
It depends on how long you want your necklace to be. So you might take your string and like hold it up to yourself and see, oh, I want it to be here, and then tie it off there. It's always a good idea to cut it a little bit longer than you want because you can trim it up later and you can fix it that way.
And our other question is, how do you make the ring around Saturn? We
We're
might
gonna
be a little ahead of ourselves
you're
here.
getting, that's our last step. We want to get, I'm actually going to pull it off of here first. We're going to do that at the very end. That's the very last step once we get it on. Okay. I'll show you how we do that. That's a good question though. So I'm going to come in with a smaller bead. And then we'll come in with a big one again. Oh, nope. We need a little spacer guy. We'll come in with a big green, a big blue one. And then we'll do an orange. But you see how you can just like kind of wind that thread through the pipe cleaner and then twist it. So it's all one piece and it makes it super, oh, I forgot. I forgot to do one of my little spacer beads. Makes it super easy to get the beads off and then back on into the right spot. Now we'll do this guy. Okay. Another spacer. Okay. Okay, so then we're going to thread this. Okay, sorry, I bumped it. So you can see now I've got all of my beads on. Oh, I'm missing one down here. We'll put this one here. As you see, I'm trying to thread it without the pipe cleaner and it makes it really hard. But it's so much easier with the pipe cleaner. Okay, here's all my beads. So what I'm going to show you to do first is let's untwist this guy. Okay, we're going to use it again here in a second, but we're going to untwist it so that it kind of comes apart and makes it super easy to get your thread off. Okay, we'll just kind of untwist it. There we go. So now I have it like this. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a one of your beads. Okay. And what I like to do is string both of these guys through this bead, and I'll show you how we're going to do it. So we're going to recreate our needle. Okay. Put this in the middle like this. I'm going to twist it around and then like through the middle. And then we're going to twist these guys around so that it makes kind of one little piece like that. And I've got both sides. Do you see that? I've got both sides tucked into the end. And I'm going to push them through this bead like this. Okay. And then what we're going to do is untie it from here. And then what I like to do is, oh, I took it off too soon. Sorry, you guys. We're going to put it back in our needle again. Okay. And then you're going to go around and make a loop and go back in. So I've got a loop on my bead. Do you see like that? I've got a loop. And then now we're for real going to untie this. A bunch of different ways you can do it, and your mom or your dad or your grown up might be able to help you do it in a different way. And that's fine. This is the way that I like to do it because I like having this bead on the end. And then I can tie this in a knot like this. And if I wanted to, I could add a little bit of glue there, make it extra secure. I'm not sure where my glue is, so I'm not going to worry about that. But then now I'll show you what it looks like. Now I have my bracelet and my necklace that has a knot at the top. So I always know that goes behind my neck. That makes it really easy to like string it on. And then now I'm ready to go. Okay, do you see how that works? So I think that's like the best way to finish it off. There's a lot of different ways you can get super fancy and like string them through this way and then tie it and loosen it. That gets really intense and then it gets really tangled. So I like to do it this way. So now let's build our Saturn ring. That's the very last thing we have to do. And I think we're going to put the Saturn on this blue guy. Actually, you know what? Let's do Saturn on orange, okay? And so I think we're going to do, let's see, what color of sparkly pipe cleaner should I use? I feel like we should probably, let's do purple on that. Don't we think that purple will look good with him? I think so. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of cut off a chunk, okay? Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to kind of pull it apart here. And I'm going to string it through here in the center, okay? And one way is going to go around it like this, okay? So I've got it strung through the center, and then I'm going to take one end and I'm going to tuck it back into this side like that. So now I've got one side done. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I might need to trim it a little bit. Sometimes I like to let it get all the way through. So I'm going to wrap it around the bottom side. I'm going to tuck it back into that hole and push it all the way through. till it comes out tight again. Sometimes it gets a little bit stuck. You just kind of keep pushing it through. And it comes out, and I'm going to trim it off this end a little bit. Okay, and there's my Saturn. It's really simple. It's as easy as that. Stick it all the way through, and then fold one side and tuck it back in, and then fold the other side and tuck it back in, and then it's done. That's it. So now I have my big, beautiful necklace with my Saturn ring ready to go. You see, yeah, there you go. Get it up on the top. So now I have my necklace all ready to go. I made it a little bit small for me. I made it for a friend who is a little kid who I'm going to give this to and say, hey, I made you a Saturn. I made you a solar system necklace. But doesn't that look fun? I think it turned out really, really cool. So I used, these are beads that I painted earlier. The beads that I painted today with you guys are right here. Still drying, and you see how shiny this one is still, but the other ones still look really dry. When that one is not shiny anymore, that's when you'll know it's ready to be a thread onto a necklace. Okay, what questions? Anything else we need to talk about? Go over again? I'm happy to like redo some steps if we need to.
There are some people who want to see the last bead again. If you could do that, the
Oh,
tie off one.
yeah, I'm happy to. Let's see. I'm just going to reuse. I'm going to do it without threading my necklace and with just some thread so you guys can get the idea, okay? And let me show you how to do it. Let's do some thread that's a little bit different color from the beads. That'll make it easier to see too, I think. So I'm going to cut off my thread and pretend that across here I have all of my beads. The way that I like to do it is I'm gonna steal one of these beads that I painted on another day. Okay. I have beads everywhere, you guys, because I also teach kids jewelry classes sometimes. So I'm gonna use, we'll just cut a brand new little needle, right? That we're gonna turn this into a needle. And what I like to do is take both ends of my thread, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in the middle of my rope, of my thread, of my embroidery. Oh my goodness, use the right words, Kristen. Of my Chanel stem, my pipe cleaner, and I'm going to twist it like this, okay? So that it's one piece. And then I'm going to probably wind this around a little bit too, because that helps, okay? So now I have it so that it's all one piece, and I can use this to thread through the needle. And then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to put all of this through the needle like this, okay? And you see it pulled it through, and then I'm going to pull my thread off, and then I don't need this anymore. And then what I like to do is take it while this is like this, go here and tie a needle, a knot. So there's a knot. You see that? Let me flip it around so you can see it. So there's a knot there. And then I do a double knot. So I'm making a square knot. Okay. And then I just do that again. And then if I had a little bit of glue, I would add some glue right there so that it's extra secure. And then I can cut this off so I don't have a whole bunch of thread, but I have my knot. Let me pull this out here so you can see. So now I have my bracelet with a little bead at the top. And then I have my necklace. Does that make sense? You're basically looping it through the hole once, and then you're tying it with a knot with the piece below. So it looks like a knot wrapped around the bead. And that's it. The bead just makes it extra secure. And I like the bead in the back because it tells me where it is on my neck, and it keeps the knot out of the back way. It makes it stay easier on my neck. It works better as a necklace. Okay, that's all you're doing. It's the same here. It's So there's my bracelet and there's my bead. Okay. Anything else you need to see again? Do you guys need to see how we do Saturn one more time? Are we good with that one? That one's actually, it looks like it's going to be a lot harder than it ends up actually being.
It looks like we're good for the most part, I think.
Okay. So
The
don't
video is
forget,
online.
excellent. The video is already out there online. So if you want to go watch it, please do. Also, if you made your bracelet, a necklace today, I want to see it. So make sure to use hashtag made it with Mike or make it with Michaels, hashtag Michaels classes. Or you could also for camp, you can use hashtag camp Creatology and post a picture of it on social, and that'll help us find it so that we can see your awesome artwork. Okay. I had a great time spending the afternoon with you. I hope you guys have a great summer. And also, don't forget to come back on Friday. There is a chance to make some alien creatures with some pom-poms and yarn and foam, and it's going to be awesome. And my good friend Anna is teaching that class, and she's awesome. So be sure to come back for that class. All right. Bye, guys. Have a great summer.